You know, one of the things I've seen pop in the comments a lot, one of the things I think people struggle with, heck, one of the things that I struggled with after I lost my job in television and was trying to figure out what I was doing is what do I focus on? What is my niche, as everybody calls it? And I struggled with this quite a bit. And I've seen in the comments, people are saying, well, you know, what should I do? What should my niche be? First of all, if somebody can tell you exactly what you should be doing, I personally wouldn't listen to them. They don't know you. Now, maybe you're hiring them for coaching or something, and that's completely different. And I've coached people to help them with that. I thought I would do a video and I would share with you several things to help you kind of find a niche and explore niches. Now, everything I'm going to mention in this video, I personally have done. So these aren't things I've just like, well, you know, I think this would be a good idea. Maybe they work for you, maybe they don't. But everything I'm going to mention, I have tried at some point or the other. Now, if we haven't met, my name is Kevin Colby, and this whole channel is about just helping people over 40, I'm in my 60s, do video and YouTube and just share your creative gifts with the world. As a quick recap, I had worked at a company for almost 24 years. I was a creative director in television. My position got eliminated. And then I was like, what the heck am I going to do? And, you know, God has blessed me and my family way more than I deserve over time. And at the same time, He's given me gifts and talents to use. And so I was going through this period of what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And one of the things that somebody recommended to me, I think it may have been Sean Cannell. I forgot who it was, but they said, ask someone what you're an expert at. I don't like the word expert. I just don't. I said that before. I've been introduced as an expert, maybe a specialist, maybe a groupie, whatever you want to call it. And look, if you're an expert in something, that's great. But the idea is ask people to fill in this blank. Put your name in here. I'll use mine. Kevin is an expert at blank. Now, I actually did this, and I did this in 2017 on Facebook. So here's the video that I'm not going to play it here, but here's the video I actually posted. I uploaded it. I asked the question in there. I think it's a couple of minutes. I tell you what I'll do. If you want to see the video, I'll put a link to that down in the description. It's an unlisted video, but if you want to watch it, have a good laugh, maybe at my hair at the time or whatever, that's cool. But you can see. And what I did is I just asked people. I didn't ask them for money. I just said, hey, would you do me a favor? And would you answer this question? Kevin is an expert at blank. Just to see what other people said and thought. Was there something I was missing? Now, here's what I did, and here's what I would recommend you doing, is wherever you do it on a social media platform, send out an email or something like that. But for me, like getting it in writing, I went through all the comments, and I put them on a piece of paper. Can you see that? Right there, if it focuses. And those are the highlights. And so what I did is I took this piece of paper and, well, actually I went to a doc and I just copy and pasted everything. And I highlighted things that stood out to me, like editing and pushing people to do things and talk radio hosts and all this other stuff. It was really fascinating to see what other people thought that I was an expert in. So that's my advice to you. That's one of the steps. That's one of the ideas. Ask people blank, your name, put your name there, is an expert at. Another idea is if somebody were to ask you to give a talk with no notice, they came up to you and they said, hey, again, I'll use my name. Hey, Kevin, we need you to give a 30-minute talk right now with no preparation, go. If somebody asked you to do that, what could you talk for 30 minutes straight with no prep? And I actually went through this exercise and I thought, well, you know, I'm a special needs parent. I could talk about that. I could talk about my background in television. I could talk about video production. And then over time, it's even added, like, I could talk about YouTube. Not a YouTube expert, but I could talk about it. I could talk about different things. So the idea is Think of somebody coming up to you and saying, hey, we need you right now to give a 30-minute talk. Let's go. What could you talk for 30 minutes on without notes or prep? Just think about that. I bet you're going to surprise yourself. Another way to kind of help you find your niche is to look at questions people ask you all the time. Now, based on what you do, it could be maybe around your job, it could be around your hobbies, it could just be around things you like to do or you've made money on or you've done in the past. What I do, my profession, I constantly get questions about gear and ideas and starting a YouTube channel and everything. Now, some of that has turned into coaching and consulting gigs, which is really, really cool. In fact, there's some nonprofits I've worked with. Love working with nonprofits. What are the questions people ask you all the time? Now, it could be through DMs. It could be you're sitting at a coffee shop and somebody's picking your brain or whatever. And make a list of those. Think of those, because what you may see, what I saw, is a pattern of people asking some of the same things. Now, not only could that help you find your niche, that might actually help you write a book if you wanted to. I think I've mentioned this before. I've written a book. I'm working on another book. It might spark an idea for an online course or just a digital download or something like that. It's like, hey, dang, I didn't think about this, but people are asking this all the time. I could actually create content around that. That might become my niche. So think of the questions you get all the time from anybody and go, maybe that's something right there. Now, this next one is, I want you just to think about this. So here's the question. If money were no object, what would I do even if I didn't get paid? So let me give you a little story about this. So I was having coffee with a young dude several years ago, and he was really frustrated with his job. I think he liked doing what he was doing, but there were some other things going on. And I finally asked him, forget your bills, forget your monetary obligations. And he had a family and a young child. Would you continue to do this even if you didn't get paid? Are you that into it? And he looked at me and he said, yeah, I would. And that was that spark bulb moment, that light bulb moment. There was a spark. So my question to you is to sit back and think. And, you might want to write some of this out or type it out or whatever, or just, grab your phone and record yourself talking it out. I do that a lot with my voice memos on my phone, especially if I'm driving. I'll hit that and I'll talk out ideas or just throw something out there because I know later I'm not going to remember it. What would you do? What do you love doing? What do you just, I love doing this and I would do it even if I didn't get paid? That, my friend, might spark the idea for your niche. Then over time, you can figure out ways to monetize it through so many different ways. So I'm asking you right now to think about, what would you do even if you didn't get paid? Another idea, and again, like I said at the beginning of this video, I have done all of these. You may not need to, you may not like any of them, that's fine. But this is one that actually has helped me. Write out all the things that you can do. This isn't about that you're great at or not. Maybe you are. That you can do, that you love doing. You notice I do this. That you can do, that you love doing, that you've been asked to do. Just make a list. I prefer to write that out. So what I've done a couple of times, I love coffee. I love local coffee shops. So what I've done a couple of times is I've gone to a coffee shop, and I purposely take like a journal or something like this, a notebook. Sometimes I take my headset. Sometimes I'll turn some just chill music on or whatever, but I stay off my phone. I stay off the computer, whatever, and I'll just start writing. I guess it's journaling to a degree, but I've done this before. And what I'll do is I'll write out things that I feel that, things that God has given me the ability to do, things that I've learned over time, things I like about it. I don't worry about the grammar. I don't worry about whether it's a complete sentence or not. I just write. And it could be paragraphs. It could be bullet points. It really doesn't matter. And then what I do is if I get to a point and I've just stopped, and I start thinking too hard, I stop. because then I don't want it to become like an exercise. Now, I'm going to show you something. And if you're listening to the audio of this, I'm actually putting these episodes as podcasts. Look at this. These are notebooks that I have, I'd like to say filled up, but I haven't filled up over time. And this is one I started in 2017. And by the way, I used to be a creative director at a Fox station. So a lot of my things from Fox were from shows. Most of them never made it. I've even got a Terra Nova notebook. Tell me if you remember that. But I can go back in here, and I started out with content ideas. Look at that, content ideas. So I was already thinking that. But I go in here, and here's an entry from 2017. What I do, what others say. I was thinking about resume and stuff like that. This goes all the way back to 2017. And there's another one in here. Here's another one. And I'm not going to go through all these, but if a lot of these, if I open, you would find things in here where I'm writing down what I think I can do, my plans. Here's one right here. If a stranger asks me, what can they expect, what my channel is about, and it goes on and on and on. I probably should have prepared this a little better, but you get the idea, right? These are things I just sat and wrote. My purpose, right there, my purpose. You probably can't see it because it's probably faded out, but you know, my purpose is, and I don't even remember what date I wrote this. I wrote, help people use their gifts to impact the world. And that came out of one of these times where I just took time to sit and write. And if you journal, that's fine. Sometimes I kind of get into this. And the only reason I recommend this, and I'm digital. Guys, I love typing. I have an iPad. I don't like typing on the iPad, but I like digital. The reason I like this is because I feel like that and a pen, getting away from the office, just going somewhere else, disconnecting, helps me connect a little bit more, if you will. If you have ideas that you've used, things that you've done to find your niche, your area of topic or whatever, please share that in the group so we can all learn from each other. You can always change over time. You can. I mean, even though I've pretty much been focused around video production, video creation, and stuff like that, you know, it's taken me a while to kind of hone in now to you know, talking to folks that I feel like are more like me, over 40 and stuff like that, and still helping folks that are beginners. And I realize that we're all on different paths. So even though you might go through this exercise, it doesn't mean you can't change it later and change your focus and stuff like that. But hopefully, if you're struggling, if this is one of those things that's keeping you from creating video, from putting you out there, especially on YouTube, which is what I'm always going to recommend, then try one of these and see. And if you have any success, however you deem success with this, let me know down in the comments. I love connecting with you guys this way. So I really hope this helps you. And you can always watch some of the other videos, like, you know, even why you should start a YouTube channel if you want. There's a link to that as well. But I really greatly appreciate you guys being here, your comments, you watching. And remember, just create and share your gifts with the world because the world needs you.